Have you ever looked at an elderly loved one and noticed small changes? Maybe they're not eating like they used to, or they seem more tired than usual. Or perhaps, out of nowhere, their mood swings and you can't quite figure out why. Maybe it's something like forgetting things they never used to forget, or pulling away from family and friends, staying isolated. At first, these changes don't seem that important, right? We all chalk it up to just getting older. But, what if I told you these seemingly small shifts in behavior could actually be a silent warning, one that could change everything you know about their health? Imagine realizing too late that those tiny signs were actually the first signals of something much more serious. What would you do then? You're not alone in this, and it's never too late to make a difference. These changes, though small and easy to brush aside, are often the first whispers of deeper health issues. What makes them so hard to catch is the fact that they sneak up on us slowly, often disguised as normal aging. But being aware of them? That's a game changer. Recognizing these early warning signs could literally make the difference between a loved one living their last years in comfort, or struggling in silence. It's more than just about noticing what's different, it's about knowing why it matters. Because when you act early, you can help ensure that their final years are filled with the dignity, love, and comfort they deserve. And trust me, it's never easy to see someone you care about start to change, but your awareness can give them the care they truly need. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with a deeper understanding of the hidden health risks that quietly harm the elderly, risks that often go unnoticed until it's too late. I'll share with you 5 major signs you must watch for, signs that should never be ignored. Whether you're taking care of a loved one, a neighbor, or just want to stay informed, these signs are crucial for anyone between 6 to 75. So, make sure you stick with me through to the end, because the next few minutes could change the way you approach their care. If you care about your family's health and want to make sure you're doing all you can to keep them safe, drop a comment below saying I'm here. And, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel, Elder Mature Moments, is here to keep you informed and empowered with the latest tips and insights into elderly care and well-being. You won't want to miss out on more content just like this. Imagine your grandmother, who once loved food. She'd always sit down for a big, hearty meal, and nothing could keep her away from her favorite dishes. But lately, she's been losing interest in food. Meals go untouched, and when you ask her about it, she just shrugs it off, saying she's not hungry. At first, you might think it's just a picky phase, something that will pass. But what if I told you it's a lot more than that? What if there's a deeper reason behind this sudden loss of appetite? A reason that could be silently harming her health? As we get older, it's common for our metabolism to slow down, and yes, our taste buds lose their sensitivity. This is all a part of the aging process. However, when someone's appetite suddenly vanishes without explanation, it could signal something far more serious, like organ decline or even malnutrition. This isn't just a phase, and it shouldn't be brushed off. It's important to recognize that appetite loss in elderly individuals isn't always a minor inconvenience. It can be a clear warning sign of deeper health issues at play. Now, I know what many of you might be thinking: it's just a phase, they'll eat when they're hungry. But here's the thing. Many families make the mistake of assuming it's nothing to worry about and then try to force their loved ones to eat. They may push bigger portions, more meals, or even pressure them to eat foods they don't want. But that could actually make things worse. Forcing food when someone's body isn't ready to accept it can lead to more complications, like choking, indigestion, or even discomfort that makes them want to eat even less. So, what can you do? Instead of pushing for larger meals, try offering smaller, nutrient-rich snacks throughout the day. Think about foods that pack a punch, like high-protein smoothies, soups, or small portions of meals with essential vitamins and minerals. Consider consulting a healthcare professional for advice on the best dietary plan for your loved one's specific needs. They might need a specialized diet that's easier to digest and more appealing to their diminished appetite. Small, frequent meals could be the key to keeping their body nourished without overwhelming them. Appetite loss is just one of the warning signs. There's another issue that can creep up silently, and it's often even harder to spot: fatigue. Let's dive into that next, because fatigue in older adults can be a bigger concern than most of us realize. Now, think about the elderly person you know who used to be full of life. Maybe they were always the first to jump up and help, always on their feet, always moving. But lately, it's different. Suddenly, they're tired all the time. They're sleeping more than usual, or they don't have the energy to get out of bed. You try to encourage them, but they say they're just feeling worn out. It's concerning, isn't it? At first, you might think it's just a part of getting older, but this kind of fatigue could be a warning that something deeper is going on. Fatigue in older adults isn't always about getting older. It's often a sign that something is wrong. There are many potential causes for this kind of exhaustion. It could be something like cardiovascular problems, where the heart isn't pumping blood as efficiently as it used to, leading to constant tiredness. It could also be anemia, where the body doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen to the tissues, leaving the person feeling drained. Or, sometimes, it could be something as serious as depression, which often goes unnoticed in the elderly because the signs are different from what we typically associate with it. No matter the cause, fatigue that doesn't go away is often a red flag for an underlying health issue that needs attention. Here's the thing: too many families make the mistake of writing off fatigue as just old age. They think it's normal for their loved ones to feel tired all the time, but this prolonged exhaustion can signal something much more serious. It's not just about getting older. It's about listening to the body and understanding that when fatigue becomes persistent, it deserves investigation. Ignoring this symptom can delay the discovery of potentially life-threatening conditions. So, what can you do if you notice this sign? Well, the first step is to encourage some gentle activity. Sometimes, light exercise, even a short walk, can help build energy and improve overall health. But if this fatigue persists, don't wait around for it to get better on its own. It's essential to take your loved one to a doctor for a full checkup. A thorough examination can identify the root cause of their fatigue, whether it's an underlying medical condition or something else entirely. A healthcare professional will know the best course of action to help get their energy back on track. Fatigue is a serious warning, and it's something that shouldn't be ignored. But it's not the only silent health issue that often goes unnoticed. The next sign I want to discuss is sudden mood changes. It's another red flag you'll want to watch out for, and we'll get into that next. Have you ever noticed an elderly loved one who's suddenly irritable, anxious, or even angry, when nothing seems to have changed around them? Maybe they snap at you for no reason, or they're more on edge than usual. It can be really confusing, right? One moment, they're their usual self, and the next, they're acting out of character. You might wonder, what's going on here? It can feel unsettling, especially when you don't have an explanation for it. These sudden mood changes aren't something to take lightly. They can actually be a sign of something much deeper. You see, when we age, there are all kinds of factors that can cause a shift in mood. For one, hormonal imbalances, things like changes in estrogen or testosterone levels, can wreak havoc on emotions and cause irritability or mood swings. Neurological conditions, like the early stages of dementia or Alzheimer's, can also cause significant changes in a person's mood and behavior. And let's not forget that mental health issues, such as depression and anxiety, aren't just for younger people, they can affect the elderly too. In fact, depression in older adults often looks different than what we might expect. It might not be obvious sadness, but more of a quiet withdrawal or sudden anger. These emotional shifts are often a hidden sign of a mental health struggle that deserves attention. Now, I know many families will brush off mood changes as just getting older. It's easy to think, well, they're getting on in years, maybe they're just grumpy, or they're going through a tough time, it's normal to feel a little down. But here's the problem: what might seem like a harmless change in personality could actually be a symptom of something far more significant. Mood swings like this can be linked to dementia, thyroid disorders, or even other neurological conditions that need a professional's diagnosis. Ignoring these signs, or thinking it's just a phase, can delay crucial treatment and care that could make all the difference. So, what can you do when you see your loved one struggling with these mood changes? First and foremost, don't argue or dismiss their feelings. Instead of trying to reason with them or getting frustrated, offer them support and understanding. Often, the elderly person experiencing these shifts is already feeling confused or upset by their own emotions, so a calm and reassuring presence can help. And of course, make sure they see a healthcare provider. A thorough checkup will help determine if there's an underlying medical or mental health condition that needs to be addressed. It's better to be proactive, even if you're unsure of what's causing the changes. Sudden mood changes are definitely a sign to pay attention to, but they're not the only health issue you should be watching for. Another hidden health problem that can sometimes slip under the radar is memory loss. Let's take a look at that next, because it's one of the most common, yet most overlooked, signs of something more serious. Have you noticed that your loved one is starting to forget things they used to remember so easily? Things like where they put their keys, or what they had for breakfast just hours ago. Maybe they forget the names of family members they've known their whole lives, or you have to remind them of things over and over again. At first, you might think it's just a normal part of getting older. But as it becomes more frequent, you start to wonder, is this just forgetfulness, or is something more serious going on? Memory loss, especially when it starts to affect everyday activities and interactions, is often more than just a normal part of aging. In fact, it could be an early warning sign of something like Alzheimer's disease or other forms of dementia. These conditions slowly impair the brain's ability to store and recall information. And while it's natural to forget things occasionally, like where we left our glasses, when memory loss becomes a regular occurrence, it's usually a sign that the brain's health is in decline. Early-stage dementia, for example, might present itself with mild forgetfulness, but over time, the memory issues worsen, affecting decision-making, daily tasks, and even the person's ability to recognize loved ones. Many people assume that memory loss is just a natural part of growing older, but here's the thing, this isn't always the case. While a little forgetfulness is normal as we age, when it starts to interfere with daily life, it's a serious concern. Memory loss could be a red flag for something far more significant than simple aging, like dementia or other neurological conditions that need attention. So many families brush it off, thinking it's nothing to worry about, but the truth is, early detection can make a huge difference in treatment and care. If you notice memory loss, especially if it's becoming more frequent or severe, it's crucial to get a formal evaluation from a doctor. A healthcare professional can help determine if there's an underlying issue that needs to be addressed. A proper diagnosis can rule out other factors like depression or medication side effects, and help you understand what steps need to be taken next. The sooner you know what's happening, the better equipped you'll be to help your loved one maintain their quality of life. Memory loss is a warning sign you should never ignore, but it's not the only one. The last sign we'll talk about today is social withdrawal. Another sign that can sometimes be subtle but is just as concerning. Let's dive into that next. Imagine an elderly loved one who used to be the life of the party, always the first to show up at family gatherings, ready to share stories, laugh, and just enjoy being around others. But lately, something's changed. They're avoiding family gatherings, even the simple phone calls you'd have just to check in. They cancel plans at the last minute, or sometimes they just stay quiet, retreating to their room. At first, you might think, maybe they're just tired, or maybe they're in a mood. But the truth is, social withdrawal in the elderly is often a much bigger issue than just needing some alone time. Social withdrawal can be a sign of many things, and none of them are things to ignore. In many cases, it points to depression, something that is more common in older adults than we often realize. Depression in the elderly often looks different than what we might expect. It's not always about sadness. Sometimes, it's more about emotional numbness, a lack of energy, or feeling disconnected from the world around them. But withdrawal can also signal something like loneliness, which can be just as harmful. The elderly, especially those who have lost spouses or friends, can feel isolated, which can lead to emotional and physical decline. Another concern here is cognitive decline. In some cases, withdrawal is one of the early signs of conditions like dementia or Alzheimer's disease. When someone starts to withdraw socially, it can be because they're no longer able to keep up with conversations, they're embarrassed about their memory loss, or they simply don't want to face the confusion that often comes with cognitive issues. The brain starts to struggle with processing information, and as a result, they may retreat to avoid the discomfort. Many families make the mistake of thinking this is just a natural part of aging, that it's normal for someone to become less social as they grow older. But in reality, this withdrawal could signal that they're struggling emotionally, mentally, or even physically. It's a serious issue, one that deserves attention. So, what can you do if you notice this sign? The best thing you can do is encourage regular social interaction. Don't wait for them to come to you, reach out, invite them to family activities, or even small one-on-one conversations. Try to include them in things they enjoy, and keep them mentally engaged by introducing activities like puzzles, games, or light hobbies that stimulate their mind. And if their withdrawal continues, it's essential to consult a healthcare provider. A doctor can help assess whether this behavior is linked to depression, cognitive decline, or another underlying issue that needs attention. These 5 signs we've discussed today: appetite loss, extreme fatigue, mood changes, memory loss, and social withdrawal, might seem overwhelming. But knowing what to look for is the first step in ensuring the health and well-being of your loved ones. Awareness is key. And once you recognize these signs, you'll be better equipped to offer them the care, support, and love they need. It's tough, isn't it? Watching someone you love go through changes that are so hard to explain, things like memory loss, sudden fatigue, or mood swings. These aren't just minor changes. These are the kind of shifts that can really tug at your heart. It's hard to accept that your loved one might be struggling with something as serious as dementia, depression, or even an underlying health condition. As family members, these signs can be heartbreaking to witness, especially when you feel powerless to help them. You wish you could turn back time, to see them vibrant and full of life again, but the truth is, these signs can feel overwhelming. It can leave you with that feeling of helplessness, not knowing what to do next or how to support them through this. But here's the silver lining: while these signs may seem frightening at first, you're not helpless anymore. You've taken the first step by understanding the importance of recognizing these changes. Knowledge is power, and now that you know what to look for, you're empowered to act. You have the tools to make a real difference in your loved one's life. Instead of feeling anxious or uncertain, you can move forward with confidence. Because taking these signs seriously, knowing when to step in and get the right support, can truly enhance their quality of life. It can bring you closer to them and help you provide the care they need with patience and understanding. If you've noticed any of these signs in someone you care about, don't wait, take a moment today to check in with them. It could be something as simple as having a conversation, offering emotional support, or encouraging them to seek professional help. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can make a world of difference. The sooner you address these changes, the sooner you can get them the help they need. Don't wait until it's too late. By being proactive, you're giving them the gift of better care, comfort, and dignity in their later years. I know it's not easy. Caring for a loved one, especially as they age, comes with its challenges. But remember this: with love, patience, and understanding, you can provide the best possible care. You are not alone in this journey. The road might be difficult, but every step you take to improve their well-being matters. And most importantly, it's never too late to start making a change. It's never too late to be there for them in the ways they need. With the right support, you can help them live their final years with comfort and dignity, and that's something truly powerful. So, to recap everything we've discussed today, the 5 warning signs you should never ignore when it comes to elderly health are appetite loss, extreme fatigue, sudden mood changes, memory loss, and social withdrawal. These are not just normal parts of aging, they are serious indicators that something might be going wrong. If you notice any of these signs in your loved one, take action immediately. Don't brush them off, and don't wait for things to get worse. Recognizing these signs early is the first step in providing your loved ones with the care they deserve. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you noticed in your elderly loved ones? Have you seen these changes yourself? Or maybe you've dealt with something similar. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Sharing what you've been through could really help someone else who's facing the same challenges. Let's support each other, because when we share, we learn and grow together. If you found this video helpful, if it's made you think twice about the signs you should be watching for, please consider subscribing to Elder Mature Moments. We're here to provide you with more tips, insights, and helpful advice on elderly care and health awareness. Your support means the world to us, and by subscribing, you'll never miss an important update to help care for the ones you love. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I know how important it is to make sure our loved ones are taken care of, and I'm so glad you're here, learning and growing alongside us. Stay strong, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and remember, you're making a difference in someone's life just by being here.